Maybe all we can contribute is monthly one session on sector, multiple segments, multiple sectors, and we can do one month because with so many standards today. In fact, I was looking at your presentation, then I realized that even I am not aware, to be very honest, about this aquaculture certifications. That BAP and GAP that you have addressed, you know, that I went and searched what it is. That is how there's so many standards and country-specific requirements, and the industry needs constant education.
Definitely. Actually, in SGS, we have got a very big basket of food and non-food. So today, as it was told only for a food, so we are going to
I know that
maybe get an opportunity to talk about the non-food. Maybe sometime we'll do that. And there's a big scope, because I know these are the areas where people have to share the knowledge. Unless the people having a knowledge, it is not fair enough to ask somebody for a certification. And what is the benefit of them?
Absolutely.
What is the relevance? What is the relevance of the schemes?
Yes.
It is not to just make a money for some of the people, but there should be some benefit out of it.
See, education will make them understand and, you know, about many things. Even if you talk about food standard, food safety, you know, by and large, it's either HACCP even now and FSMS and things like that. And still, industry needs education on regulations and certifications.
Correct.
Because we will be inviting for subsequent sessions, we will request the chamber to invite FSSAA also. Whenever we do a program, we will rope in the regulator also. Mr. Goenka, Mr. Goenka is the chairman of our food sector subcommittee in our chamber. He is the chairman of 3F Industries, Foods, Fats and Fertilizers. That's how we used to call the organizations. And so a lot of education is needed, and we have to do. And we're so glad that, you know, you're all joining, and it's a collective engagement.
Yeah, it's really good. Reach out to I'm eagerly waiting to hear from Mr. Goenka and the team, like how the things are growing there, because this is another part of learning for me also, how the things are happening and how the consultant teams are working there, because they are the very good, important people into this whole journey of certification program, and we cannot deny that things can be done directly, because some people may not have the competency their own. So it's good to hear from all of you, and it's a good knowledge sharing time. Thank you.
Even amongst the consultants like you, you know, we also have sectoral focus, and some of us focus on a few sectors where our competency is very high. Not all sectors, and not especially on the technical schemes and technical certifications and accreditation programs. Yes, there are some generic management systems, but the sectoral specific requires a lot of technical competency also. And only those of us who are from the domain focus on those sectors and segments. Chamber has got a sector agnostic membership base, and so we can do many programs. In fact, World Standards Day, we are planning for something next month for the quality month. Also, we are planning a series of programs from CCC. We will also inform you. We will let you know.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're just waiting. Maybe 100 participants. Maybe we've got about when I logged out, it was about 485 registrations today.
Yeah, that's
when I finally logged out. People are still joining. Maybe we'll just wait and.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Hello.
Just wait for another 5 minutes, Vijay Lakshmi, before we start. I think we can wait for 5 minutes because people are still logging in.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Ma'am, can we start?
Yeah, we can start, please.
Okay. Good evening to all. Soumik Mondal, National Certification Manager, Certification and Business Enhancement, SGS India Private Limited. V. Premkumar, Managing Director and Principal Consultant, Jayvin Management Systems and Solutions Private Limited. S.B. Goenka, Chairman 3F Industries and Chairman Food Processing Subcommittee, Sector Subcommittee of the Chamber. Mrs. Rama Venugopal, Co-Chairman, Quality Systems and Productivity Subcommittee of the Chamber. Members of the Executive Committee, and industry members from various parts of the country. I actually put it as various parts of the country, but now I see people from other countries as well, like Myanmar. So welcome you all. On behalf of Andhra Chamber of Commerce, I welcome you all to this webinar on food safety standards and certifications for food sector. Andhra Chamber, I just would like to give a brief intro about the chamber for the people who have joined us today. Andhra Chamber, which is made its humble beginning on August 3rd, 17, 1928 with 35 members, has today well over 1,500 members, individuals, proprietary and partnership concerns, public and private limited companies from various sectors, and 55 affiliated chambers of commerce and industry and trade associations. The chamber is happy that it has reached its yet another milestone recently last month by entering into 93 years, 93rd year of service to trade and industry. And the chamber is headed by Dr. V.L. Indiradar, the president, and the executive committee members from various industries. Coming to today's topic, the safety. I think the term is now very familiar with everyone after the COVID pandemic, and more so is food safety. People are too scared to go out and eat, considering the hygiene part of it. Unsafe, as we all know that unsafe food contains harmful bacteria, viruses, and parasites or chemical substances which can cause more than 200 different diseases ranging from diarrhea to cancer. The good hygienic practices adopted are the foundation for ensuring food safety and also form a strong basis for minimizing people-to-people spread and cross-contamination of COVID-19 in food operations. Notably, existing personal and food hygiene measures need to be reviewed and possibly be strengthened. There is Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, which we all know, FSSAI, which has specific guidelines towards food safety and standards. To know more about food standards and certifications, we have with us today 3 speakers, eminent speakers, and they will deal with various aspects of the standards and certification. We'll now start the session with the introduction of the first speaker, Mr. S.B. Goenka. Mr. S.B. Goenka is a life member of the chamber. He has been in the executive committee for quite some time. And Sri Bhagavan Goenka is the chairman of 3F Industries Limited, a multi-product diversified industrial organization predominantly engaged in manufacturing and international trading of agro-based products. Mr. Goenka has business expertise of over 6 decades. His business acumen and passion with keen eye for details has aided over the years in the exponential growth of the 3F group from humble beginning in 1960. Besides, Mr. Goenka's interests are in spirituality and philanthropy. He is the member of the Board of Governors of MOP Vaishnav College for Women and Managing Trustee of Sri Purni Devi Goenka Agarwal Bhavan Trust and Trustee of Sri Geeta Bhavan Trust. Over to Mr. Goenka.
Unmute.
You can unmute, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mrs. Vijayalakshmi, Secretary General of the Andhra Chamber of Commerce, my colleagues in the Executive Committee, members of the Chamber, participants from the industry, representatives of certification body, and consultants forum. Warm welcome and greetings to you all from Andhra Chamber of Commerce. Food with all its ingredients, the carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, and minerals sustain life. For this life-supporting quality of food products, to promote health instead of causing harmful effects to the body, they should be subjected to certain safety norms. The national and international standard bodies, after years of ongoing research, have set the quality and safety standards which all food processing industries and the distribution channels have to follow during production, packaging, storage, distribution, to ensure that the integrity of the food chain is maintained and the beneficial effects of the food products reach the consumers, particularly during the present pandemic. The World Health Organization and FSSAI have also issued guidelines on this subject. Being a multi-product food processing organization, we are also subjected to various standards and safety norms for domestic and international marketing of our products, and we follow them strictly. The importance to adhere the quality certifications and safety standards must be greatly emphasized as they contribute to the health of the human beings. The webinar will address all these aspects for the benefit of the participants. I trust it would be an informative, educative, and interesting session with lively interaction thereafter. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this opportunity to express my view. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. That gave us you have set the tone for today's webinar. And I request Mrs. Rama Venugopal to please introduce the speakers and start the session, please.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Vijayalakshmi. Thank you, Vijayalakshmi. Thank you. Thank you to the chairperson of the Food Processing Committee, Shri Goenka ji, for setting the perfect tone for the session, today's session. Madam, can I just have the screen? Can I have the presentation, please? Yeah.
Soumik.
Thank you. Today's session is an industry education program, and this initiative is a joint initiative of Andhra Chamber of Commerce, which is the host institution, and which is fully supported by two organizations. One is Consultants Consortium of Chennai, and the other one is SGS India Private Limited. Consultants Consortium is an association of management system consultants, and objective of the association is to do a series of industry education programs on various standards, certifications, and regulatory requirements. Let me just introduce the very first speaker for today's program, and the session today is on food safety standards and certifications. And the speaker of today's program is Mr. Mondal, Mr. Soumik Mondal, who is the head of certifications from SGS India. Can I just go to the next slide, Madhura?
Yeah.
Next slide, please.
So she's 1 second.
Yeah, please. Let me just give you a brief introduction about SGS before I introduce Mr. Mondal. And SGS is one of the world's leading inspection, verification, testing, and certification company. And as certification bodies, they are also notified bodies. They are also inspection bodies. They can also do verification. They can also do testing, and they can also issue certifications. All the multiple divisions and multiple services offered by SGS, and this SGS is recognized as a global benchmark for quality and integrity. I'm sure most of you must be aware of brand SGS and what SGS stands for globally. On a global platform, they have a global footprint across they have about 2,600 offices and close to about 90,000 employees, and they have their laboratories across the world. Most of you must be familiar with SGS testing services also. And their innovative services and solutions help the industry to protect themselves and safeguard themselves with quality and safety practices. And today's session, SGS is into multiple sectors and multiple domains, and today's focus is on food segment. So they deal with primary production companies and the complete supply chain. They offer the wide range of services, as I mentioned, the whole gamut of services like testing, certification, and inspection, and various other services. So we have with us today Mr. Soumik Mondal, National Certification Manager and Head of Certification and Business Enhancement Division from SGS. Mr. Mondal has got about 16 years of experience in SGS itself, handling multiple roles and multiple portfolios as lead auditor, as a technical manager, as a trainer, and as an accreditation management and national certification manager roles. Mr. Mondal is instrumental in the development and managing certification schemes for system and product certification divisions. Next slide, please. As a national certification manager for SGS India, Mr. Soumik has been leading the accreditation maintenance of NABCB accredited food safety management system certification schemes. And this is the GAAP. This is the aquaculture certification scheme. It is called, maybe it is a global aquaculture accreditation scheme, BAP, and global GAP certification. New product development, customized certification services of SGS India, focusing at the Indian food sector space. This is a portfolio that he's heading. He enjoys industry-wide repute for delivering high quality and powerful training sessions. He has delivered many sessions on food trainings, conducted many lead auditor courses and lead assessor courses and food safety trainings for more than a decade. So we warm welcome to you, Mr. Mondal. We're happy to have you with us today, and we're looking forward to your session. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Rama Venugopal, and thank you very much for giving us opportunity to come down here and to talk to you. And thanks to the Andhra Chamber of Commerce and CCC to make this arrangement to such a beautiful platform. Like today in a COVID situation, this is one of the best thing I think we have invented over the last 6 months time, that we can chat with the people sitting in our home. And I think it's a very good platform that we can reach to the good number of people at one time. So I will be sharing my screen. Yeah. So just once it appears,
yeah,
you can just, I think it has to be, you have to enable the sharing capability for me, please. Yeah. If you can do that. Can you enable me to share the screen, please?
Yes, sir. One moment.
Yeah. Still, it is not.
One second. Yes, sir.
Okay, it is done. Thank you. Okay. Let me minimize it. Just confirm once my screen is visible.
Not yet, sir.
Not yet.
Yeah.
1 second. What happened? Some problem?
No. You can say share screen.
1 second. Something is wrong in this.
Have you shared Vijayalakshmi? Have you given him the access?
Yes, ma'am. He is a co-host with me.
Okay. Share. Okay. Okay. Now I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is visible now.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Clear. Yes.
good. Fine. Thank you. 1 second. To minimize somewhere, I think. Just to minimize somewhere. So, yeah, can you see my screen now? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So, very good afternoon to all of you. I will be taking the small presentation on the areas of various food safety management system scheme and its relevance in the food business. This is the topic which was asked me to present. So our point is which type of is more relevant for us and which scheme is more suitable for our business. That is something we are going to work on this. So during this presentation, I will be going into the 4 sections. The first section will be looking back in the past for FSMS, Food Safety Management System. Then I will be having a brief introduction about the different type of food safety management system scheme, which is the core part of my presentation. I will be introducing it because it is Andhra chapter. I like to introduce 2 different type of areas. One is the Food Safety Modernization Act, which is more relevant of US export market, and also to the seafood schemes, which is more dominant requirements in the Andhra areas. Also with the present Global Food Safety Initiative and its remote audit option, these areas also I'll be having a brief talk in the last section in my topic. So when you get into the history of our food safety management system, I have started my journey in the industry in the 90s era. So after doing my graduation, post-graduation from a fisheries background, when first time I got into the exposed into the industry, that time I used to see like most of the industries used to have the most of like consignment used to be produced, it is to be inspected, it is to be go for a testing, and then the test report and inspection report used to go for a ready consignment. And we used to have a small quality control lab into our factories and the facilities, mainly in the manufacturing sectors. And that is the time maybe sometime used to call third party to verify our consignments. That is the way the journey started. And then slowly the quality assurance concept came. But these concepts, these were only for consignment basis, checking the things. Sometimes buyer used to come from the abroad, do the inspection of our consignments, and then that is to pass, and then only it is to be taken to their countries. And again, after some testing, if it is failed, then consignment is to return back. So there is no proper system in that. We were depending on some sort of inspection era, where even the government bodies also, Export Inspection Council also, they used to come, they used to inspect the consignment that time for the exports. That's what I have seen. Even I think that is the time where our food safety understanding at the level, like at the government level also, there were so many different rules and regulation for industry wise. It was there. Food Adulteration Act, I think that is the only one started in 1954, and after that I think it took a journey of till 2005 that FSSAI formed, and then the regulation started forming. And 2011 when the regulation got formed, I think that is the time we get into the real food safety era. And now this last 8-9 years, I think a lot of thought processes going down the line on the food safety areas. So food safety has taken a long journey in India. When I see this journey, not only in India, in Europe or in US, wherever we see the maturity of the regulatory bodies requirement. Regulatory bodies requirement got maturity. Like same, the Food Adulteration Act sort of regulations were there, and the people started changing from the certification program. So that certification program, something like, I still remember the people used to make certain manuals, keeping into the quality department drawer or into the almirah, and that is the quality manual and management. So actual paperwork never used to get transferred into the floor. With the time, these things got changed. With the time, this thing has now come up, and now today we are finding that this world is changing. This world is changing from different perspective, like from food adulteration to food safety. And today we are talking about the global export, and we are going to be the leader into the market of the exports, something we are thinking. So when we think all this thing, this world is changing, we are coping up with this. So today's scenario is something totally different what we have seen in 30 years back in 1990s era. Today's scenario, we see that we prefer online shopping. We try to pay through the non-contact payment modes when we order the food from home. We eat in our sitting our home, maybe some big restaurants that making our food, and or some maybe retail outlets sending the food to our home. But question comes, are this food safe? Who is checking this food is safe? How this food is safety is assured? So that is the question today. So these questions, when comes into our mind, this particular questions answer will be given in this process where we see the food supply chain, what we are eating sitting at home, actually produced in some farm. It has been wrapped in some packaging material. It has been processed in some of the manufacturing unit, and then might be sold into a retail market. So when we see this particular areas, I don't know, something is here. What is this thing? Second. Some marks are coming into the screen. I don't know. Is it somebody's drawing something, or how is it?
No. Annotations have to be removed. That's what we're just checking. See, somebody is screening. I mean, scribbling on the screen. So we'll have to remove the annotations. You please continue. We're working on it.
Yeah. Because suddenly I see numbers are increasing.
No. It is actually, this has to be disabled at the while scheduling the meeting itself. We're just working on it. You please continue, sir. Apologies for this.
No problem. So when I see this certification programs, this certification programs, this is also coming something here. The certification programs is when it is offered across the food chain. Like if you see the farmers, when they're growing the food, there will be asking to do the good agricultural practice implementation. Somebody is manufacturing the packaging material. So we again need to see that these people are complying with the packaging material standard requirements. So there are some of the schemes which is developed over the time. Somebody is doing a trading, or somebody is doing the distribution part. They are neither in the manufacturing, not into the retail, but they're in between. So they might be going into the trading part. So this trading part is covered. Also some of the standard called BRC or IFS. So there are different sector or segments we have in the food supply chain. So for every food supply chain, there is a requirement to comply with some of the requirements. These are the schemes actually not developed in India. These are the schemes that developed maybe the Europe or maybe the US or some of the developed countries, certain consortium, they developed the standard because they wanted to ensure this particular part of the food chain are maintaining the food safety parameters intact. So there are different level for the farmer level, or for the packaging level, or for the manufacturing level, or retail levels. All these things are having different type of certification programs, And these certification programs are having a different consortium, like British Retail Consortium or Food Safety System Certification Program, FSSC, or International Featured Standard, that IFS, or ISO 22000 or ESCAPE. These are the scheme owners. These scheme owners are developing the different part to comply the requirement, the standards. So today, when as a consultant or as an implementer, you are working on different part of the food supply chain, you must ensure what is the best suitable scheme for you can use into the industry. So I will be giving a couple of schemes introduction. It is a very big area, but I will be introducing a couple of areas. First, I will be taking address of the food manufacturing sector. What are the schemes are more relevant? So when we talk about the food manufacturing sector, there are actually one second. They are actually controlled by a non-governmental organization called Global Food Safety Initiative. So this Global Food Safety Initiative is managing different food scheme owner so that they can produce the standard in a uniform way. So as a implementer, we should not get confused whether I should take BRC or I should take IFS or I should set SQF or FSSC. Anything should be in the same line. So the GFSI played a very crucial role today in the standardization of the global food safety standards.
Sorry, Mr. Soumik, one second.
Yeah.
Can you please close this session and then come again, because there is that scribbles, it is disturbing for the people.
Okay.
Maybe if you could close it and then come again, let us see, because we have disabled the annotations now.
Okay.
So
I'm stop sharing the screen again and then I'll reshare.
Exactly. Please.
Okay. I've stopped sharing. Now
again, you can start again, sir. Try it again.
Can you see now clearly?
Yeah, now it's clear. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that was disturbing.
Yeah, there are people who are commenting about it, so I thought I'll just stop you. Sorry for the disturbance. Sorry.
No problem. So the Global Food Safety Initiative initiated around year 2000, and their non-governmental organization who wanted to do the benchmarking among all the scheme owners so they can have uniform standards. So somebody wants to apply for any scheme owner standard, they should have uniformity in nature. So this is something benchmarking process initiated, and now this benchmarking has happened for the farming sector, for the post-farm gate processing sector, animal feed sector, storage and distribution sector, production of biochemical, packaging, broker and agent. So all these sectors, GFSI already has done the benchmarking process. Means GFSI has made a recognition of couple of schemes which can be accepted by the processors or producers or agents, and that will be accepted across globe. So that is something GFSI has done. So I will be just taking you into that part now, where schemes are again somebody scribbling. I think there is some issues at the scribbling aspect.
I really don't know.
Yeah, not a problem, but I think it should not disturb the people who are seeing the screen.
I know.
Yeah, I think So that these are the four schemes which I can say the prevalent or predominant in the GFSI scheme. Most of you will be knowing these names, but I just wanted to again reiterate here. One is the BRCGS. This is a UK retailers consortium based program. So it is more prevalent in UK, but it is accepted across globe now. And they have developed standards for the food, for packaging, for storage, for agents, for the consumer products. Except consumer products, all the other products under the GFSI program. FSSC, food safety system certification. This is a preferred by most of the corporates. Like you can see big corporate groups, those who have those who refer this FSSC scheme should be adopted, and this is applicable for the food, packaging, transport and storage and catering sector mainly. IFS, it is a German standard. It is mainly preferred by the European retailers. So when I talk about this particular retailer program, like all these people, like the IFS people are mainly from Germany, and they develop the standard for again similar of BRC, you know, and origin of the IFS and BRC almost in the very nearby things, because German people never accepted earlier the BRC standard, so they developed their standard and they are more dominant in the Europe market. Whereas in US market and Australia market, this standard is more prevalent. So it is more important, like which industry, which country your market, your exporters are sitting. Maybe they might be recommending you for these schemes. But keep it in mind, all these schemes are benchmarked today by GFSI. So any one of these scheme can be accepted by the retail chain or the market of different part of the developed countries. So this is something I just wanted to highlight into this slide. The BRC, FSSC, IFS and SQF, these are mainly for the scheme owner, and they develop the scheme on different parts. Okay? Now quickly to give a small comparison among all the schemes. If you see the comparison chapter here, the comparison will be like all the schemes are GFSI recognized schemes except ISO 22000 here, because ISO 22000 is not having a GFSI recognition, but ISO 22000 is one of the component of the FSSC 22000. That way ISO is also somewhere we apply when we go for it, FSSC 20000. Now all these cases, as I mentioned earlier also, these are all a requirement of different markets. Something is in UK, something is in US. So all these different markets, they have to fit the requirement. So when we talk about the accreditation, like they are all having a different type of accreditation. Some accreditation are related to the product certification programs. Some accreditation are related to the management system programs. This is mainly the accreditation perspective. Mainly, there are two types of schemes runs. One is under ISO 17021 accreditation program, another one is the ISO 17065. So some of the product certification program, they allow us to use a logo into the product. So one such program is SQF. So this particular section is the product certification part where it comes here. So this is something I just wanted to give an example. So product certification schemes are a little bit different from the management system certifications program. Now, what are the major difference? The audit cycle. Audit cycle major differences in case of BRC, it is annual programs. But if there is a gradation also in the BRC certification, so in case of A and B grade, it is a 12 months, C and D grade is a 6 months audit happens. Whereas it is a FSSC is 3-year cycle program. IFS is annual program, SQF is annual program, and ISO 22000 is a non-GFSI program. It is a 3-year cycle program. Now, all these particular cases, like today, if we see the type of auditings what we do, it is a there is a ISO 22000 more on a prescriptive requirement. Sorry, BRC is more on a prescriptive requirement. There are 380 plus clauses are there. Every clause asks a specific requirement, and we have to comply with that. Whereas in case of FSSC, this is more of a ISO based schemes, and this is a more generic terminologies, and you can apply the ISO requirement for everywhere. How we interpret the requirement, where in case of FSC 20,000, there is a 3 components are there. One is called ISO 22,000. One is ISO technical specification, ISO TS. Like ISO TS is different in the manufacturing, different into the packaging, different into the retail. So every section there is a ISO technical specifications are different. ISO technical specification mainly for the prerequisite point of view, things are different. But generic ISO 22,000 standard is the best standard, supported by ISO TS, supported by FSSC additional requirements. So 3 combination are given when we do the FSSC 22,000 certification program. IFS is again a prescriptive requirement. It has got its own clause requirement and you have to comply with that. And SQF also a prescriptive requirement. So because this BRC, IFS and SQF, these are the retailer based requirement, and this is complying with a particular market segment requirement. So they are more prescriptive. They ask particular question, you have to comply with those requirement only. You cannot do your own interpretation. They have interpreted the clauses. So this is the way these particular standards are developed. Okay. So this is a quick guidance I wanted to give it to you people regarding the different type of manufacturing related area standards. I will be definitely taking the questions. I'm sure a couple of people might have a doubt. Definitely I can take those questions, but it will be better you can put it in a chat box, or we can take the questions after the presentation is over. That is no problem, but definitely we can entertain your questions or doubts in this. With this, I shall move to the next class. 1 second. I want to also share with you a couple of complementary standards. Those standards are mainly for the manufacturing I was telling, because many a time, today's world, we are looking for some of the new standards, because some of the people are looking for a gluten-free. You might be asking, what is gluten-free? You know what is allergy? Some of you people are allergic in nature on some of the product. So gluten is a type of allergen item. It is available in the wheat. So anything made up of wheat, people are allergic. In some of the countries, this is well-defined allergic item. So gluten-free certification program sometimes is asked for, because some of the product they want to make sure it is gluten-free. So this sort of certification program is available. AOECS, it is a European certification program, mainly for the gluten-free certification. HGS provides this certification program. And this gluten-free certification program is mainly for the annual based certification program, which we provide. So sometimes if you want to use this logo, this is a gluten-free logo which is used into the product. You might be seeing some of the products, if you're getting imported products, sometimes gluten-free marks will be there on that. So this sort of claim can be done on the product, and this is a certification program. Is a requirement if you are exporting the product to Europe market or in the Canada market. This is a requirement we do sometime, and HGS has got such a certification program available. We also provide another type of program, which is a very specific program called non-GMO, genetically modified organism. Today, you know, like a lot of GMO issues has happened in India and different products like brinjal and all this stuff. So this non-GMO certification program is also available, which we do for the European market mainly. And that is a US market purpose. We have got a non-GE certification, genetically engineered certification program, non-GE certification program. More or less both the same. There are a couple of clause requirements, couple of area differentiations are there. So there is a non-GE certification. So if somebody asks, you are exporting to Europe, Europe market, they want a non-GMO certification or non-GE certification for the market of US, we are here. We can give such a program. You can definitely look into, you can Google these words. some of the people also exporting soya-based products. And there, this non-GMO schemes are also asked soya-based product when you're exporting, and there traceability requirement comes. So normally it is a non-GMO and non-G products are 3-year certification cycle product. But if somebody is asking to demonstrate the traceability, then it becomes a 1-year validity certification program. Another one product scheme we give mainly for the feed industries, we call GMP Plus. This is for the feed industry certification program. And we are having our a lot of feed manufacturers in case of animal feed industries, mainly for aqua feed or mainly for the poultry feeds industries. For them, this certification programs also sometimes is very, very crucial. So GMP Plus certification program is available for the 3-year schemes. And this is also something different type of scheme. So I am trying to give you an introduction about different type of product schemes, just to give you those names so that tomorrow you can Google it and you can get more information, and we maybe the different type I get an opportunity, you can have a longer duration for each products. So these are the products which are nowadays coming up, and a lot of queries are coming. So as a consultant or a implementer, so people can look into this product. Some of the agri-based industry purpose, I can tell them that we are also having an organic certification program. Organic certification program, actually APIDA, Agricultural Product Export Development Authority, they have accredited couple of certification bodies, and SGS is one of such certification bodies. Like several certification bodies are there in the market. Who does the organic certification program? So organic certification program for National Program for Organic Processing, Organic Production. So this is NPOP, and NOP is for the USDA purpose. So these are the 2 different standard certification programs are there. So people who wants to do the organic schemes, this is a little different from the, because this is a little different type of certification program for the agricultural commodity purpose, and now it is picking up in the market, you know. So this program is actually does only for there where there is no fertilizer or no synthetic chemicals are used. So mainly those cases we use the NPOP and NOP certification programs. We have one more certification program which is now coming up in the tea industry specifically, because this is again promoted specifically in India. Like just I was talking the BRC or SQF, like this there is one locally developed scheme called Trusty. Trusty is a scheme which is mainly promoted by Tata Group and Unilever Group. Unilever. So they are mainly the major shareholder for the tea commodities. So they are promoting this program called Trusty program, and this is mainly for the those who are making the product of like those who are making the tea cultivation, those who are processing the tea. So that the tea getting their brands getting promoted with the Trusty logos and Trusty mark, which is getting better pricing in the auctioning, and this is giving better control about the controlling of some sort of using the pesticide materials into the tea industries. So tea is a very common commodity for all of us. Every day morning, I think almost all the Indians have a cup of tea. So for them, this Trusty is a quite important certification program, because those who are producing tea, those who are manufacturing tea, they have to sold the tea or auction the tea. For them, there is a good source. So this is another one certification program is there in the market now. SGS, when I'm talking today, last 2-3 days, our global team is undergoing the new accreditation for the Rainforest Alliance. Rainforest Alliance is RA certification program, mainly for the coffee industry. So we are doing for the coffee industries also. I don't know, somebody is playing into this screen. So this particular standard is also quite a popular sustainability program, because sustainability schemes not only talk about the food safety but also talk about the social structure. It's all about the environmental structure, So when we talk about the organic, when we talk about the trustee, when we talk about the RA schemes, these promote the sustainable cultivation programs. So these are the couple of schemes which are available for the segment of the farming. So I just wanted to highlight these areas. Now coming to the areas of purely regulatory audits. Regulatory audits are something like, I'll first talk about the FSSAI audit. As in the beginning, I was talking about the Food Safety Standard Authority of India has developed their regulation in 2011, and they have come up with a certain regulations. One of the regulations are the licensing regulations, and in the licensing regulation, they also given Schedule 4. There were different parts are there, and in that Schedule 4, they are mainly talking about the prerequisite programs which need to be complied to start a factory facility. So FSSAI has got its own audit program to ensure those who are getting a license, they are managing the basic prerequisite program requirement into the facilities properly. So that FSSAI audit, many certification bodies, those who are got a National Accreditation Board of Certification Bodies, NABCB's accreditation, like SGS is having such an accreditation. So we can do the audit of FSSAI audit. It is just a half-a-day audit happens based on the government regulatory requirements, FSSAI requirements, and we give the, not a certificate, we give the report to them whether they are complying or not. And counterpart of the report submitted to the local FSSAI office so that they know which all facilities have been audited by the FSSAI. So this is a requirement by the central FSSAI, the state government FSSAI also. They ask several like government agencies, like several facilities to go to the FSSAI audit program. I think across India, all the states are very much interested, government agencies are interested to do such an audit. So this is an important area. So a lot of food manufacturing unit, lot of catering facilities, lot of restaurant facilities, they are getting to the FSSAI audit program. So this is one of the regulatory requirement in India. Now I'm going to talk the next part of it. We call it FSVP, Food Safety Verification, Foreign Supplier Verification Program, and VQIP, Voluntary Qualified Importer Program. So these are the two different type of. Please, somebody, I request please not to put anything on the screen, please. It is very difficult to see the screen after some time. Okay, so the FSSAI product similar. I was telling, like those who are doing the export to USA. So those US export areas actually today this foreign supplier verification program is one of the requirement where FSMA is foreign supplier, the food safety management purpose. The US FDA has developed the FSMA Act, and as per that act, they want to control their own manufacturing unit, like how our FSSAI is controlling in India, same way FSMA is applicable for their country. Now, their importers, their country importer, like US importers, they want to import from the third world country. So when they are going to import from third world country, they want to ensure those third world factories, third world facilities, like they are importing from India, they are importing from some factory in Andhra or Tamil Nadu. They want to ensure they are complying, those factories are complying with the prerequisite program or the basic regulatory program of US. For that, they want to verify and ensure that we are managing the thing. So these are the two different certification program. One is the Volunteer Qualified Importer Program and Food Safety Verification, Foreign Supply Verification Program. These two different programs we are providing from SGS, similar to the FSSAI audit. So somebody want to export to US, they can have this program. I will be coming subsequent slide. What is the difference between FSVP and VQIP and how it will benefit the exporter of India to export in the US market, because at present US and India's close tie-up is there to do the business. So this will help them to grow their business into that country. So this is another two types of regulatory things I just wanted to introduce to you. And last one I am taking in this part is the ISO schemes 9, 14 and 45. These are the quality management system, and environmental management system and health safety management system programs. So these are the three different type of standards we have in these spaces. Sorry. So this is the foreign supplier verification program, how it works. This foreign supplier verification program is like, as I was telling, Schedule 4 is there in our FSSR regulation. Similarly, there is a, for US, there is a 21 CFR, CFR is Code of Federal Regulation 117. This is mainly for the human food purpose. Or for the animal food purpose, they have got 21 CFR 507. These are the common requirement for us to comply, and whichever product you want to export, for them it will be applicable regulation for that particular product, because every product there is a particular specification. So group of products are there, for their every group of product there is a particular applicable regulation. So combining these two, we have this program called foreign supplier verification programs are there. Somebody wants to sell the fresh fruit to US, for them they have to comply with the 21 CFR 112 clause plus applicable regulation. So this is the way the foreign supplier verification program works. Somebody wants to apply. So foreign supplier verification programs are actually third-party programs. This VQIP and FSBP. So this VQIP and FSBP is mainly triggered by the importer of US. Somebody from US, they will ask you to go for this certification program, or they will tell, if you have this program, it will be helpful for us. So you can approach certification bodies like SGS, because there is only, I think, 3 certification bodies at present approved by the FDA to carry out these audits. So SGS is one of them. So this FSBP and VQIP program can be offered for them. So what is this FSBP and VQIP program differences? Somebody wants to import. So is this certification required by FDA? If it is, somebody saying FDA wants this certification. FDA is like our FSSAI in US. So FDA is asking for a certification, then we will ask you to go for voluntary qualified importer programs. So this particular program is something like a unannounced audit will happen, and this report we will be uploading, like SGS does the audit, SGS directly will upload into the FDA website. So your audit report, your factory audit report will be given to the FDA website, and that will help you whenever your consignments are going or passing through the FDA, the US port. They will know that this is already a VQIP pass, so their detention time will be very less, or null detention time will be there. So you will be getting that advantage for them. If it is a importers, they are asking for some sort of system in place, because importers want you to manage some sort of record documentation, which is to be sent to them with every consignment. Like they will be asking your test report, they will be asking your particular consignment related traceability report. So this sort of particular reports are managed by you, then it will be called FSBP program. So FSBP program is not a regulatory requirement of the FDA directly, so it will be a voluntary requirement. This also will be a voluntary requirement, but this report will not be uploaded into the FDA site. This will be given to you, and you can share to your importer in US. So this is an FDA requirements, how you can help with. So one point I was talking about the FSSAI, parallelly I am talking about the US regulatory requirements. So these are the two different type of regulatory requirement certification program today is available, which will enhance your business in India for FSSAI, and if you want to export to US, this FSBP and VQIP will help you to do the business in that country. Now I will be going to the couple of schemes which we talk about the seafood market. Seafood markets, we are having different type of certification programs. Some of the certification programs, we call it ACC, Aquaculture Stewardship Council. This is again, as I told, each market has got its own type of scheme preference. Like if it is a European market, more preference of the seafood certification program. It is mainly for the farm seafood. Farm means those who are farming, those who are in aquaculture part. They can go for the Aquaculture Stewardship Council ASC's program, or you can go for a best aquaculture practice, which is more dominant in the US market. We also can do seafood global gap or friend of the sea, but at present in India, I can say the more prominent two standard for the farming sector is the Aquaculture Stewardship Council and best aquaculture practices. This is something we are doing. And for us in India, I can say that we are managing this best aquaculture practices accreditation office in India, because we are managing the accreditation from NABCB. And I'm happy to share with you that at present I am issuing certificate to 11 different countries sitting in India, starting to North America, like NAM section, Canada, then USA, and also South America, like Chile, Ecuador, Peru, and also we are having the businesses at different Asian countries. So wherever we have got SGS, like we are selling this, we are using our auditors at different countries, and we are getting the audit done on those countries' farm and issuing certificate from India. So we are doing that. So India, we are also doing the same services. So these are the two farm related segment of the seafood. We do the traceability part, which is called chain of custody audit, mainly called Marine Stewardship Council and Aquaculture Stewardship Council. Means somebody is getting certificate of AC in the farm, but that farm raised fish or shrimp is coming to the factory, so that also should have some sort of tracking system, no? Then only it will be recognized that your farming has been done with the proper standard, that COC will recognize that particular thing. We call it a traceability audit, and that is happening there. We also getting into the new scheme on the wild seafood area. Wild seafood area, we are going for the responsible fishing vessel standard certification. We call it RFVS, responsible fishing vessel standard certification, because you know in Andhra, lot of like maybe there'll be some sort of like fishing system fishing vessels are there, not small vessels, the big vessels which is going and doing the fishing. It is not so much popular in India, but it is more popular in the European market, in Russian market, in Indonesia. So we are getting into that certification program, and we are getting into this particular standard audit development now with BAP also, because recently last 2 days there is a gold program is going on. Last year it happened in Chennai, but this year it is happening through over web session like this, and I am attending this every day. Evening it happens, night 6 o'clock to night 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock this program is happening. So responsible fishing vessel standard is going to be the another popular certification program for the fishing vessels. So this is coming up. So this is going to give more understanding, like what type of fish are getting caught into the sea, whether proper ecological balance is maintained or not, how the health safety of the people are maintained into the fishing vessels, and how the environmental part is taken care of. So this is something going to be taken care of that. We are also having the seafood laboratory and testing. As you know that we have got established laboratory streams in SGS who gives a support into the certification program also, because some of the seafood program like best aquaculture practice or these are all actually under the, as I told, the product certification program. So product certification program will be linked with the testing parameters to ensure the product is safe. So for these cases, these laboratories are used. So some of the schemes which I was talking, like seafood programs, we have These are the 4 seafood programs, 5 seafood programs, and these seafood programs are different pillar into the standards. So food safety standard pillar, environmental pillar, traceability pillar, social pillar, and welfare, animal welfare pillar. So all these pillars are there. So BAP or Global Gap, all these programs are going to give this sort of supports. The complete pillars are there, but some of the schemes are having restricted pillars. So just wanted to give an overview of this particular section. So now I'm coming to the last phase of it, like GFSI certification program. Today we are doing a lot of certification programs. So far we have to visit the factories, we have to do the audit. But as you know, in this COVID-19 situation, GFSI is gearing up for the new world of auditing, where they want to introduce the ICT tool and they want to ensure that food safety audits are happening in a remote way. So this particular process is initiated long back. Again, I think somebody has to just remove these things, otherwise it is going to be a problem. Please don't scribble on this.
Sir, actually there is an option in your screen, sir, that you need to disable it.
Where it is?
Disable in annotation.
In annotation it is there. Okay.
Yeah. There are 3 dots, and then you have to go and it is enabled actually from your side. You have to disable it.
Show presenter view screen, pointers view, laser pointers, I don't know, no, arrow option, something is there. Okay, fine. Let me finish. I will not have much of a time left over. I have to do little bit of research, I think, on that part to find out exactly. So at present, the GFSI programs, all this auditing program, which is now a big challenge in most of the manufacturing units, that neither this is accessible for the auditors, nor it is safe for the people to allow the outsider to come to do the audits. So when the March 1st GFSI programs related areas, this FSSC and BRC, they all wanted to have the full remote option, but GFSI did not allow, because food safety, no compromise. Without sightseeing, you cannot do the certification program. So that time, into the later part, what happened in April, we have got the approval for you do the extension. If you cannot do the audit, do the extension for 6 months. But now what happens? Slowly they came up with a partial remote audit option. They told, okay, fine, 50% of the audit or some of the documentation part you can do it on a remote. Through the mail communication you get the document, and remaining part you can keep it for the next 28 days or 30 days time. You can go to the site and get to the audit. So that partial remote audit option was accepted by GFSI. Now the situation has come from March till today, almost we have crossed 6 months time. And now the people are going to be asking that another extension, is it possible? No, you cannot give an extension for a year to keep the certification without having an audit. So now this 2 scheme, BRCGS, on the month of September has given an approval that yes, people can do the remote audit of the site. Sitting into the distant location, we can do the remote audit provided we are using proper ICT tool and we are able to go and visit the on-site of the facilities. And on the 1st of October, FSSC has given an approval to do this particular thing. So we have seen that these are the things are like have been given an access and approval very recently on this matters. So this is something a plus point for us today, that we can do the remote audits for the couple of schemes where you have a certification which you are unable to allow the auditor, or auditor unable to travel down to your place because of your company policy. You don't allow the outsider, or the certification bodies are unable to share their auditor to the location. In that case, remote audit is possible. And this remote audit possible, which all cases, I have given a small diagram here. And I think that particular thing will, if you can see here, the people are unable to coming to your facility. So if it is a existing site, yes, for the existing site, so you can have a 6-monthly extension. If the 6-month extension is over, then you can go for a full remote audit after having a proper risk assessment and ICT tool, that information communication technology tool, need to have a prior trial by the auditor and ensure they can visit your complete facility. So based on that, they can do the audit. But these audits are not GFSI approved, but at least to understand and give the confidence to your customer that you are managing the system properly, the full remote audit is possible. So this is something, is a new journey has come up. Why I am introduced this last slide, because when I started my initial slide, I told that we were in a process of something like somebody has to travel down to the facility for every consignment checking. After that, we have got into the certification program where 6 monthly or annual visit by the auditor to see the system is managed. So quality assurance program is managed by the site management. Today, that is also not possible because of the pandemic situation. Today, we are going to rely on the information and communication technology tool, and we will try to see that we can justify your effort to maintain the food safety management system in your facilities can be rewarded by giving the audit and continue with your certification program. So this is something I just wanted to give in a nutshell into my presentation. I know I have covered a very brief way to almost all the standards. So if you have got anything, you can just put it into maybe in a chat or in a process. But I don't know whether this particular team is going to take the question answer session only at the end of the next presentation. That is the way we'll run the things or not, I'll leave it to you. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to give the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I request Ms. Rama Venugopal to please introduce the next speaker. As Mr. Mondal pointed out, the question answer session will be at the end of the session after Mr. Premkumar also finishes his presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Please unmute it.
Madhu.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mondal. A to Z of certificates in the food safety domain. It's like an ocean. There are so many management system certifications, product certifications. It is a vast horizon. Thank you so much. Thanks for a detailed presentation. Now, Madhu, can we just have the screen, please? The presentation. I just would like to touch upon briefly about, yeah, just one second. Yeah, the next speaker of the day is Mr. Premkumar. Prem is a member of Consultants Consortium of Chennai, and he focuses predominantly as a sector agnostic consultant like us, but with more focus on food safety management systems. Prem is how we call him, as he's got about 23 years of industrial plus consultancy experience across various industries like automobile, manufacturing, IT, ITES, food, construction, and various other service industries. With the proven experience in the area of implementing management systems, BRCGS, FSSC 22000, SQF, IFS, BRC, that is the packaging and standard, and ISO 9001, IATF, which is an automotive standard, ISO 14001, OSHA's 18001, ISO 27001, which deals with information security. Being a specialist in manufacturing and food industries as management systems consultant, he's worked with more than 400 clients, maybe in the last 2 decades, with a positive output. He's got a long list of certifications to his credit. He's a qualified lead auditor for BRCGS for food safety, and BRCGS for packaging and packaging material. There are some issue numbers. Then FSSC 22000 is a food safety management system standard, and then HACCP practitioner, and ISO 9001 QMS quality management systems consultant, ISO 14001, ISO 45001, and 27001. PCQI certified professional. Maybe it is a specific requirement coming from US FDA, I guess. Halal, certified halal compliance professional as an internal qualified internal auditor, a 6 Sigma black belt holder, and he's an empaneled consultant for Coconut Development Board of India. Prem is founder and managing director of Jayvin Management Systems and Solutions Private Limited from Chennai, with offices across the globe. He has established his footprint in the Middle East market also. And yeah, a lot of other credentials to his credit. Thank you for joining us today, Prem. Over to you. We are looking forward to have your presentation.
Thank you, Rama. I'd like to share my presentation. Put me as host.
Okay. One second.
Shall I start to share? Yeah.
Yeah, you can, I guess.
Yes. Very good evening to all. Thanks to Mr. Soumik Mondal for his wonderful presentation. He talked more about the certification scheme available for our BOs. It's very informative. Thank you, sir. Good evening to Mr. Goenka, sir. Good evening to all of the members. I'm going to talk about the consultant's role on this certification process and its implementation. So, as I can title as the role of consultants in guiding industry on FSMS implementation. When we are talking about the consultant role on this FSMS implementation, we have vital role, we have very important role. Thing is, when the standard coming in the market and implementation state, it needs lot of clarifications, lot of detailing, and it needs very good clarification on the implementation process or infrastructure oriented approach. On the time, our role is major and vital. We are serving in this FSMS for last 5 years and we across 100 clients. Yes, I'd like to make clear about my audience. All your industrial professions, management, some of the management consultants, all are familiar with the food safety concepts. I'm going to deliver 20 to 30 minutes of session in this food and product safety concept for packaging material and food safety materials, and what are the certifications available and how to need to get implemented. In this purpose, I'm going to deliver it off. This is a small brief for myself, already Rama covered in my introductory section. Fine. Coming to this consultant, simply I can say consultant is a terminology made it as a commercial term, commercial name. Okay, but in reality, we are called as subject experts, FSMS professionals, subject matter expert, ACC consultant, solution provider for FSMS, internal auditor, source, anything can make it of that. The idea of our consultancy services on this FSMS implementation is make easy of standard implementation in food industries, make certification body very comfortable to certify them, make ensure the FBO is operating and very comfortable to implement it. That's what we're playing the role. We the consultant helping in your site assessment, documentation activities, internal auditor, training and proper implementation activities. These are all the things we are covering in our services as a consultant. So it helps to food safety operators as well as certification body to make the process very easy. I like to give some of the common mistakes was happened in my consultancy. One of my coconut processing industries made a building without window. Generally, this kind of structure is created for some high-risk product or high-risk process structures. He made it as a regular coconut processing without windows. Actually, some of the people have suggested to go without window. It helps them to save the product. Really, it is not like that. For low risk and medium product, you can go with a proper ventilation with pest-proof mesh. Pest-proof system is quite sufficient. You can go with the regular air. But something got misguided and made the building structure without windows. He thought to go with 100% AC. Really, it is not requiring. Another company, we have seen the situation. They made their toilet facilities 500 meters away from their working area. So it indicates that they have misunderstood the concept in different manner. Another thing is some of the industries that made the old factory like a big hall, big room. They don't have any of the partition between finished goods storage, warehouse, as processing. Without any of the partition, they made simple the industry as a big hall, not accepted. Another thing is one of the person made metal detector mandatory for the coffee, filter coffee companies. Of course, metal detector is recommended, but it is not mandatory. Another thing is labeling. Lot of mistakes are happening in the labeling industry. Lot of industries again making the cylinder processing. Again, they are reinvesting money on this labeling process. Some of the industries not mark their high risk zone. It is not properly constructed. Again, they are reinvesting money. They are not properly understand the concept of these food safety standard requirements. Another thing is wrong selection of interior decoration materials. Some people's gone with the epoxy with the non-food grade. Though their product is high risk product, they're going with the non-food grade materials, not accepted. Sometimes they're using the non-treated wood as their pallets. Even some of the standards not allowing wood pallets. In that case, what is the case? They are going with the non-treated wood pallet as their product. Then some people using chemicals, banned chemicals they're using as part of their hygienic requirement or cleaning CAP process. Some of the people placing the laboratory in middle of the processing industry, chemical lab and biological lab, not accepted. Again, they are revamping and restructuring the plant. Some of the process validation is missing. Wrongly choosing the certificate. Exporter is aiming for the non-GFS certificate, though he may be the exporting to US or EE, but he is going with the non-GFS certificate. Simply is telling that, sir, my exporter is my customer is quite sufficient to go with ISO 20000. No, we need to choose a right certification for our process. As a result, when WOs, food business operators, not understanding the requirement of the standard properly, they made them to spend more money on revamping the process. Then they think that it is a very complicated process. If you are analyzing this WOs complaint on this standard requirement, lot of things they are not initially understand properly. They are misguided or they made it in a different direction. Again, coming back to revamp the process, then the system and system certification is become complicated. Then they are going for a correction process. On that time, they are aiming to go for non-accredited certification also. This is a scenario is happening in small scale, medium scale industries on food. To avoid that, we peoples are here. We are guiding them. In this, we are going to discuss more on. Fine. Why we need consultant for food safety management system implementations? Our major role is Rama, one person is keep on asking one question. Plus point.
We can address it later. All question and answers later.
Okay. Fine. We need the consultants. We are the person making the organization to travel in right directions. We consultant assessing their product, process, require certifications, whether it's GFSA certification, non-GFS certification. Sometimes they need to go for HSS certification for Middle East countries. So we are the person helping them to guide very properly on the certification process, and we are helping them to assess and implement proper good manufacturing practices and good hygiene practices based on the industry. It can be aqua industries, it can be spices industry, it can be oil industries, it can be meat processing, fish processing, whatever it can be. So we are assessing and guide them to go with the proper GMP and GHP process. Consultant help them to make the proper documentation structure and make the documentation as per the standard and certification body requirements. Then we are helping them to adhere standard and certification bodies. We are assessing the site based on the plant layout, machine layout. We help them to make it properly, helping them for internal audit. training as the core output and customized to the requirement, then code and certification board for these audits. These are the roles playing by the consultants. It helps them, the FBO, to implement the FSMS very easily. So this is a role we have as a consultant. Another thing is standards also getting updated, regularized, and it needs more maturity level on implementation process. And nowadays, if you're talking about the BRC, GS, IFS, SQF, all this GFS standard has its own requirement to implement. They need more maturity level in the organization, but same time, they're giving the option of risk assessment. Whenever you feel it is not much applicable, not much requirement, we can assess and convey the system through our risk assessment methodologies. These kind of things we made through our FSMS consultancy. This is a consultant role mainly. Yeah. We the consultant role on most important is legal assessment. Legal assessment in terms of product, process, functionalities, and manufacturing facilities, country they are going to export. Some of the people may export the product to US, Europe. We need to cover the destination country for the product requirement. All these things getting addressed in our legal assessment, we are making the clear documentation for the implementation. Then we are looking for a documentation training, site assessment, and internal audit. These are vital role we are playing for the FBOs. It doesn't mean that we are the person going to make a big of them. Not like that. We make the FBOs to learn and implement their own systems.
Tim, your voice is breaking a little actually.
Just a minute. No, it's okay.
Yeah, because
okay.
Yeah, this is better. In between, it's cracking a little.
Okay. Fine. As a big consultant role, we are helping the food business operators and certification bodies. Let us say standards and audit methodologies. Okay. When we're telling certification bodies, inclusive of scheme owners, accreditation bodies, and certification bodies. Okay. So FBO having a very big challenge in implementing this standard within their premises. If it's the big corporate companies, they're having their own resources in terms of money and professionals, they can implement. When it is coming to MSME level, it has its own challenge. In our industry, a lot of MSMEs in food industries, they're struggling like anything for implementing these standards. Sometimes they themselves wrongly assume some kind of information, and they're projecting once it is coming to the review, then they feel it is wrong. Once they're going to correct the situation, again it is going to be increase their cost. So a lot of this kind of zigzag approach is happening in this FBO. So we the consultant helping the FBO in right direction. That's what our role on the certification process is vital in FBOs. Yes. Some of the things how to choose your consultants. Please check the qualification of the principal consultant of the organization whom you are going to discuss. Let you evaluate the team size. Generally, some of the individual consultant approaching the client and they have their own content for a resource to make your requirement. Check the knowledge level on the legal assessment of the consultants. The recommendations on infrastructure and amenities of the consultant on the knowledge. Then experience and feedback. Another thing that you can find the experience and quality consultant in the NBQP website, APIDA website, on BRCGS approved consultant. All this kind of website giving the approved or registered consultant. So once you are approaching this kind of consultant, you will get the foolproof system for your implementation. A lot of rework or rearranging things make reduce, help you to make this FSMS very easy and simple manner. We are the NBQP consultants and got registered. Fine. So you can choose a consultant from the renowned sources or approved sources. It is easy for you to implement the FSMS implementation. The idea of this consultant role is simplify the standard implementations in actual role. Another thing is, Nowadays, people talking with more on ISO consultants. Please look into the food sector specific consultants. Generic consultants also available, food sector specific consultants also available. Please choose in your consultant firm as relevant to your food sectors. It's most important whenever we are discussing with the client, or whenever buyer discussing with the client on a certification, simply they are putting hyperlink to consultant. Sir, we give our consultant number to talk with the certifications. No, it is not like that. That's what Ms. Soumik Mondal also keep on informing our client to learn more on the certification standard and schemes. Fine. So as a consultant role, they are helping you to learn the process, teach you the process. As you are the FBO, we need to be thorough in the standard and schemes. That is the reason our CCC is arranging this kind of session, and we are promoting FBOs to learn the process. More important is FBO should have that ability to understand the schemes available in the market. They need to choose a scheme which is available and applicable for their business. Fine. Then how to make the effective FSMS, effective food safety management systems. Okay. And now Mr. Soumik Mondal is talking on FSVP, Foreign Supplier Verification Program, VQIP, Voluntary Qualified Importer Program. Okay. These schemes available for the person who is going to export US. Assume that some of the product having more product appeal for this FSME. When they are having direct requirement on FSVP, they are working for the ISO 20000, some of the standards. So we the person, we need to understand what kind of standard is helping to improve our business, what are the standards helping to satisfy their buyer's requirement. It's most important. Therefore, the entire presentation of Ms. Soumik Mondal is talking more on the schemes available. Coming to this effective QMS, general people focusing on one-day training program. Yeah, it is need. Some of the case it is need. But our recommendations always focus on the 2 to 3 hours of training program in this FSMS. Mainly for this MSME industries. Let us focus on 2 to 3 hours of training, but they need to go for the more number of sessions. It helps them to learn the process, learn the FSMS requirement. People will understand, then they will start to implement in effective manner. Another thing is manpower control approach. In food sector, particularly in South Asia, when we across system, still they are not having proper HR policy and HR concept. That one among the setback in our FSMS implementations. Once a person is got relieved any of the reason from the organization, and next joining person performance is very big question mark on the industry, though he is capable and competent for the system. Continuing the responsibility and the system is very difficult because it is not properly hand over, the system is not available. I can't say it is happening in all the organization. Majority of industry is happening because of the maturity level in the manpower or HR systems. Then always people expecting the external source for training. No, please go with the train the trainer approach. Once you have the trainer approach in your organization, it is possible to make n number of training programs in your organizations. And then site evaluation, go with the periodic site evaluations. Audit is not mandated. Some of the organizations telling that only in time of audit we can go for the audit. No, we need to conduct the internal audit regular and periodical as a mandatory one. Then more focus on the urgent activities. Please focus on the important as well as the important urgent activities on FSMS. These are all some of the tips we are giving for effective FSMS. Growing needs of this FSMS standard needs basic and concrete system in your organization. If you are not able to focus on basic system in your organization, it is very, very difficult for us to sustain this kind of GFSA level certificates. In all the GFSA certificate, they are asking us to go for the unannounced audit, surprise audit. Once the organization not equipped or not developed to the level with this basic system, it is very difficult for them to sustain with the certificate. Getting the certificate is one sort of exercise. After that, sustaining also it has its own difficulties. So in this scenario, please make effective FSMS in your organization from the very beginning. Now I'd like to talk about more on integrated management systems. One organization may need more than one certificate. One organization is export in Europe, one organization is export into USA, Australia, New Zealand, Middle East. The product is distributing or selling to all the countries. In that time, based on the country need, they need to integrate more number of certificates. On that approach, they need to go in integrated management system. It is compiling BRC, HACCP, FSS 20,000, 20,000, 14,000, all the standard they need to integrate. In that kind of time, they need to implement one standard as a base. Let us say BRC. BRC covers all of the BRC, GSS covers all the requirements. Once you make it BRC, GSS as a standard approach in your organization, within that standard, you need to build all other standard requirements. It will be easy for you to implement. It is easy for implement or upgrade your certificate at time of version changes. Let us take this FSS 20,000. Within 2 to 3 years, they have revised 3 times. 4, 4.1 and 5. 3 times it is got reviewed. FBOs has got its real challenges for upgrading the session within 3 to 4 years of time 3 upgradations. Fine. So once you are having this base system as a strong one and building other certification as the base system, it will be easy for you to sustain with more than one certifications. Let us take, once you go with the BRC GS food safety certification issue 8, you can go with the additional modules. FSME also you can go with the additional modules. You can incorporate additional module as a FSME, along with you can go for the certification FSVP, Foreign Supply Verification Program. Once we are going with that kind of approach, it is easy to sustain your certificate in cheaper cost or economical way. It helps to both certification body as well as FBOs also. Another thing is, we need to always insist certification is not only qualification. Of course, it's a good qualification for FBOs, but same time it is organization strength. Nowadays, you can when the FBOs trying to make business with big corporate companies, supplier system assessment questionnaire and audit, it's a mandatory. Lot of good and very effective industries available in our Tamil Nadu and South India, they are not able to get the business just because they are not able to qualify themselves for the supplier system assessment. Some people struggling to meet the requirement of social compliance. Now the requirement is getting changed from the industry to industry. Need from the buyer, need from the US people also getting increased. So we need to go with the integrated management system in an organization. Make one certificate as a base and other certification need to be get sandwiched in the base system. Yes. GFSI, Mr. Soumik Mondal has talked more on this scheme and its approval. It has 4 certifications: BRC, GS, SQF, IFS, and FSS 20,000 for processing, and this Canada Gap, Global Agriculture Practices, Asia Gap, Primaries, Global Gap, all this for the farming levels. Right. So based on the standard requirement, we need to understand the process as well as legal requirements. I like to talk about something on the food chain, farm to fork approach. As we know, it's very well, all the person crossing this kind of certification for the person who is within this food chain. CO2 gas manufacturer also can go for certification. Food serving aids can go for certification. Thread manufacturer for tea bag can go for the certification process. It's my experience. This robot manufacturer also has gone for the certification, ISO 20,000 FSMS certification process. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit on this feed and pet food industries. In our India, it is a fast-growing sector. Feed and pet food industries. In this feed and pet food, requirements are different, but all the standard having this kind of specifications as well as requirement compliance. Feed and pet food industries also can go for the certification process. Mr. Soumik has talked about on GMP plus. GMP Plus specifically talks on feed industries, fish meal, fish oil, poultry feed manufacturer, cattle feed manufacturer. All these persons go for the certificate GMP Plus. Some more certificate also available for these feed industries. Depends upon the continental and country. We can go for the certification. We can choose the certification process. Yes, some of the basic definition I like to share with you. Food, feed, animal food. These three things are different. Food, it's a substance or ingredient, a milk process, raw, which is intended for consumption, includes drink, chewing gum, and any substance which has been used in the manufacturer as human being. It's called food. Once it's coming as a feed industries, it talks about single or multiple product, whether processed, semi-processed or raw, which is intended to be feed to food processing animals. Then it is called feed industries. Feed. Animal food is single or multiple product, whether processed, semi-processed or raw, which is intended to be feed to non-food producing animals. Animal food. Let us say we have cat in our pet animals. All things called animal feed. Cattle feed manufacturers coming under the feed manufacturers. This difference we need to understand. Based on this food, feed, animal food, lot of standards are available. You can Google and you can get more information on this. Another important thing in our FSMS is risk-based thinking. No need to go with a lot of documentations. You can customize your documentation approach. Country-based food safety regulation need to be followed. Destination-based system also we need to make it of this, like FSSA, FSA, Singapore Food Agency. This kind of things we need to get amended. Right. So let us talk about this consultant approach. Always we need to go with a phased manner and project-based approach. We need to make a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 on certification requirement. When you're talking about the GFSS standard, one side it needs more on training program, one side needs on site assessment, documentations, internal audit, process validation and verification. When the system is coming to implementation on these FBOs, they need to go with a phased manner approach. Once they are starting to implement without the phased manner approach, they miss it off lot of plots. That's what we are recommending to go with phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 approach. Phase 1 is for gap assessment, documentations and all. Phase 2 is training as well as implementation of GMP, GHP. Phase 3 is for internal audit. Phase 4 for the certification audit. Once we are going this kind of phased manner approach with planning, it is easy to enhance and implement your system and standards. And some of the examples I given for this worker level and staff level training. Generally, we are recommended to go with 2 hours or 3 hours session on implementation process. Yes. Another thing is always educate your consultant on marketing requirement. It helps them to choose a certificate, require a certificate for your process. Yes. Let us talk about some guidance on this BRCGS implementation. So we need to go with a 11-step approach for your implementation process. Because of time constraint, I'm not able to explain this. These are the 11-step approach. We need to make it for a BRCGS standard approach. Right. Some of the tips in implementation is in South India in MSME industries, we are lot lagging in displaying the posters. We need to understand displaying the poster is for making the commitment to implementations. Please understand it is not only for the follow-up of the workers or staff members. It indicates that commitment from the organization to implement these posters. And always we need to understand the standards. Please get the standard before you are going to start the implementation or get the certification process. Your consultant will help you to get a certificate, right certificate and right of course. Don't go with the proxy standards. Always go with the original standards to read and implementation for the organizations. And invest time, good amount of money in posters, display in entry premises and ensure the relevant display. It's some of the tips I like to give it for your implementation process. And in this period, in the short period, just uncover how do we make the system effective manner on this growing need of GFSA requirement. Small brief about this. Let us hand over the session to Rama Madam. We have little limitation of time to ask the question and answer. So I will answer your clarification doubts in this common forum along with Soumik Mondal and hand over the session to Ms. Rama.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, am I audible? Yeah, thank you,
Now
Prem. Thank you for the detailed session. Very quite exhaustive, and you've covered almost almost all angles of the implementation challenges and maybe some tips for the industry also. Let's move on to the Q&A session. I've just jotted down the questions, at least whatever is there in the box. Maybe I'll just read out. Mr. Mondal, the questions are again to you, like, specifics. Somebody was asking, what is GFSI? Maybe you can just touch upon a little, and then maybe the...
Yeah, I think you have already given that answer. I saw that already you have made an effort to give that answer, and it was correct that Global Food Safety Initiative, I think we have given that slide very clearly that it is a non-profit organization, and which has been developed in the year 2000 to make that this consortium is not another one scheme owner, but they do the benchmarking of different scheme, and they develop the scheme in such a way so that all the scheme will be at the same page. So they are the making the benchmarking of the standard. I think that I can say the answer. Yeah.
Okay. And then there was a question about ISO 22000 audit, whether it is it's a 3 years exercise or an annual exercise. Is it an annual audit? Somebody was asking.
Yeah, any ISO standard goes with a certification cycle, most of them with the 3-year cycles. And this 3-year cycle to make the system in place so that certification program, when you do the initial certification followed by annual surveillance or the 6-monthly surveillance based on your seriousness, we can ensure that system is in place. So generally the ISO schemes are 3-year certifications program.
There was one question on BRC, like about usage of the logo on product packaging. If it is a product certification, whether a BRC logo can be used on product packaging.
And for though it is a ISO 17065 scheme, but BRC as a scheme owner does not allow to use any logo of BRC on the product. Even the word BRC itself stands as a logo. So they even don't allow the BRC to be used anywhere in the primary packaging material. So that is something that is a separate clause number is appointed now in the new standard. The clause has been given on the BRC logo related. So that is very clearly mentioned that BRC logo, how it has been used into the company's website, into the company's product or not, that need to be audited. And anybody found there is a BRC logo is used, there will be a non-conformity will be given there.
Okay. There's another question on GFSI. Is it included in FSSAI, I guess?
In this, I want to share one thing. One organization is printed BRC logo on their packaging materials by mistake.
Okay.
Actually, auditor is given major non-conformance, and with some sort of grievances we have raised, and it is solved. Okay, it is not at all accepted. Using logo on the product, BRC, GS, ISO 20000, FSC 20000, anything is not allowed.
It is only allowed in case of BAP scheme, in case of organic, in case of SQF. Couple of product certification scheme allow, but if the scheme owner does not allow, please don't use it. So you can refer to the scheme owner guidance on that. Thank you.
There is a question, what is FSVP and what is VQIP? It was actually covered in your presentation, but then, a couple of them repeatedly were asking this question.
So I think I have given that answer also. FSVP is Foreign Supplier Verification Program.
Okay.
And VQIP is Voluntary Qualified Importer Program. So somebody is somebody want to be voluntarily qualified for the importer programs. So they will want to be into the list of the FDA.
Okay.
In those cases, VQIP comes. This is more on a regulatory requirement, and people have to go for an unannounced visit. Whereas FSVP is something you want to develop. Like many people has undergone PCQI training. I think many people are going across PCQI training, the FSMA implementation purpose. So PCQI training, something like FSSAI also is giving a training, FOSTEC training. Similar sort of PCQI training happens. But these people who are trained in the factory, they should manage the records and the documents into the factory. So FSBP purpose also you can maintain the documents and record, and if buyer wants, you can send those documents by the mail or by their website, you can download. So that is a program which is you are maintaining the standard as per the FSMA requirement or not. Whereas VQIP is where SGS take the ownership, and not only you manage the system, but also we have to upload the report of the VQIP into the site of the FDA. So FDA keeps a proper tracking, and this is like we are doing job on behalf of FDA, something like that. So this is more of a regulatory requirement of VQIP.
And what is this URZ and RA?
Okay, that was a UTZ. UTZ is a good health, actually UTZ is a good health program. And RA is Rainforest Alliance, is a separate scheme mainly for the maintaining the environmental area of the mainly the farming sector, because a lot of environmental impact happen moment due to the deforestation and the growing of the plantation. For this purpose, this is coming. So it is a sustainable standard Rainforest Alliance and UTZ. Okay. This is mainly for the tea and coffee sector. It is done.
Somebody also requested for a little more elaboration on FDA.
As in Food and Drug Administration, that is something a full form of the Food and Drug Administration.
Yeah.
FDA, that is a generic one.
That is what that was the question they have asked, and just one more question. Whether SGS gives clearances for shipments for exports is one question.
Yeah, every SGS is as it was told in the presentation when we were talking about SGS, inspection, testing, verification, certification organization. So we do the consignment verification. We have a separate team, separate business. We don't do as a certification team. We don't do, but there is a separate team is there. Agri and food team is there. They generate the consignment verification with the clearance for the shipment. Yes, there is a separate verification team available.
So maybe guess one more question to you, Mr. Mondal. This is for Australia and New Zealand. How to export milk-based products? Whether they need to have different certificates for milk-based products.
Now, there is Australia, New Zealand. If you want to import, you need to understand what is their regulatory requirement as for, as it was told by Prem also. Whenever you are going to export to any other place, you want to export, isn't it, or import? What is that?
Export.
So when you are going to export to their country, you need to ensure what is their requirement, whether we are going to comply with that requirement. So now, if any certification program or like SQF or which is also Australian recognized scheme like BRC, so it can be applied for that. But again, those standard or those certification program never dictate you what regulation you have to maintain. You have to go to that particular country's regulatory requirement to comply with. So that we will be asking for. Okay.
And do you is there any quarantine certificate for milk products is required? There was a question on who will give quarantine certificate for milk products.
I'm not very sure. I think it should be the regulatory department will be given for this.
Okay, must be a regulatory framework is what I possible.
It's called product certifications.
But regulatory scheme only will be, regulatory department will be giving that, I think, quarantine purpose.
And then, who will give the certificate of health for export shipments?
Generally, it is done for the Export Inspection Council. I understand correctly.
They do that. Something like, what is it? Certificate of phytosanitary.
That is also given by the government.
It's all okay. Maybe all this come under DGFT or something.
Yeah. So
export documentation. What are these export documentations?
Oh, okay. They're all okay. These are all exempt domain. Okay, export import documentation procedures. Chamber has many exempt consultants. Maybe we will organize one exclusive session on exempt procedures. We do have very good exempt consultants in the chamber. Vijayalakshmi, can we please make a note of it? We will organize one.
Sure.
Okay. For most of the questions. Maybe I'll just give a small break to Mr. Mondal and let me move on to Prem.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Mondal, because the questions list is increasing. Prem, again the same question. Shipment
Yeah.
clearance is given by export authority in India. Is it right? Is what somebody was asking. I guess it is DGFT.
Shipment clearance is generally from C&F agencies of dealing
Oh,
with
Generally, the Export Inspection Council, they provide the
There is an
oh,
agency actually, Export Inspection
okay.
Agency.
Inspection agency.
EIA and EIC. They are mainly the responsible for this. Yeah.
Prem, is there any special certification for spices and condiments and for meat industry too, other than HACCP?
No, all the GFSI standards applicable.
Ah, okay. And somebody was asking, is GFSI included or recognized by FSSAI?
Yeah, it is. It is. I think they had an approach of last 2011 or 12 for the GFSI program happened in New Delhi. I still remember.
Okay.
And that time, even the government also had a representation on that platform.
Okay.
GFSI was conducted in India.
Okay.
And GFSI is something is not any regulatory direct correlation is there. GFSI is again a NGO, I am repeating that, which is making the benchmarking of different schemes. The scheme may be recognized, but today we have got an office of BRC in India, we have got an office of FSSC in India. So people are working with along with I think regulatory bodies and the government agencies in India here in India itself. So those scheme owners are opening their offices. GFSI will not do anything. GFSI only do a benchmark among the schemes. Okay.
Okay.
Actually, FSSA is a standard for our Indian industry, Indian consumer.
No, what they're asking is whether FSSAI as a regulatory platform recognizes all this GFSI schemes or something.
Generally, the scheme owners are having an independent scheme owner for the retail chains and stuff. Whereas like a MTA or FSSAI, they will not give any creams. Only if you see the FSSAI, they mention you should have a FSMS certification.
That is what it is. FSSAI recognizes FSMS basically.
FSMS can be anything. FSMS can be BRC, FSMS can be ISO, FSMS can be HACCP.
Yeah, it is a very,
whichever it is, it can be FSMS. So
yeah, because
FSMS, they will not give any particular private
specification. Okay, that is what they just wanted to know, whether these things are recognized. And what is it? How to register for low acidity food in FDA? Maybe it is all regulatory requirements basically. How to register for low acidity food in FDA?
I think there'll be separate protocols.
Yeah, these are all regulatory. Actually, we will also do an exclusive session on regulatory requirements. Maybe in all the subsequent future food sessions, we will invite FSSAI also, Vijay Lakshmi, because regulations and certification standards, they're all interlinked.
Yeah.
And, so most of the questions are even related to regulatory here actually.
Coming to this low acid foods, it is a separate category in USDA. At the time of registering their USDA license, they need to apply specifically for the USDA low acid canned foods. In India, 2 to 3 trainers are available to train the people in the low acid canned food as per the USDA requirement. When the USDA people coming for this audit, our Indian FBO have to get qualified at least one person in the industry for this low canned food.
Okay.
It's mandatory.
Okay.
It is a different.
Some good question to you, Prem. Competition. If someone wants to start a consultancy in food sector, what will be the first step according to you, sir?
Contact www.cccc.com.
Right to the association.
It is organized. Earlier it is unorganized. Now it is organized. When they are approaching our forum, we can guide them very properly.
We will mentor. No worries. Association is here to mentor. At least all of us have put in 3 decades, 2 decades into it, right? We will mentor you because we would love to have young consultants. So we will do the needful. Industry needs many consultants.
True.
There is a good, this is a request from a clinical nutritionist. Is there any way forward for training for the same journey in the consulting or whatever it is? Any appropriate study material, book names can you recommend, please? We would request you to write to us. We will actually tell you maybe in the FSMS space, you know, which are all the standards. You all have to start with the standards to understand many things better. Then you will understand and appreciate the certification schemes also. Please write to us and maybe we can also share thoughts. Maybe you can guide actually.
Yeah, actually in this PCPA section, When you attend the PCK section, they are giving black bug book. It covers a lot of requirements on food sector. It gives very good recommendations and guidelines, scientific material, lot and lot. Simply, I can say it's one kind of Wikipedia for our food sector that I'm strongly recommending people. Another thing is in BRC GS education. BRC GS participants, they're conducting lot of sessions. When the people getting registered in the particular forum, they can get regular updates. Another thing is in USFDA, they're publishing newsletter on daily basis. Once they register in USDA newsletter, freely they get more information, how they are getting recall, what are the amendments happening, what are the new things or new trend happening in this food sector. You can get more information.
It's regulatory. Actually, regulators, they need to understand the regulations first because food is a regulated sector. So they need to start with the regulatory framework. With regulatory framework is defining the QMS framework and the standards requirements also. Maybe we need to start with the regulatory side of it. How can anyone train the trainer for GFSI, HACCP and FSSAI? Maybe we'll request Mr. Mondal to answer this.
Train the trainer generally recognized by the scheme owners. For example, train the trainer has to be done by BRC themselves, or IFS never develop any train the trainer. They only give the training, so they don't allow.
Okay.
For SQF, there is a train the trainer concept. Okay. So for the FSSC, it is a IRCA based program, so that to be developed by the trainers has to be developed by the particular training organization. It may be the like in HGS we have got a trainer like that. The train the trainer program we run for that internally. So BRC as a scheme owner develop the train the trainer themselves. Okay. So it depends on the scheme to scheme. They will develop. In case of ISO scheme, the IRCA based agencies, they develop their train the trainer.
Okay.
Actually, this train the trainer term I used it in my slide. What Mr. Soumik telling is a trainer for lead auditor or some sort of
tutor. No, I'm talking a trainer for the tutor.
A trainer of the tutor. Okay. That is
the thing. Train the trainer is something at the highest level. Like you can get
organization.
Yeah. So
we ourselves train the people for train our own employees.
No, that is different. But when the BRC, for example, I'm a trainer for a BRC. I do the training, but I am not trained the trainer. I have to go to my UK office and I have to sit with the BRC trainer. They will teach us how to do the training for this. So there is a separate train the trainer course.
There's a training
is different. Yeah. So my question is different. Actually, whenever the organization need to train their employees from the outside faculties, they themselves made some eligibility criteria to become the trainer. They qualify them as a trainer. They can make them internal trainer. Okay. It not to be the accredited training or some qualified. It is inbuilt training for their own organizations.
They can develop their own person for training their internal people. That is the.
That's what when I'm in my slide I used a language trained trainer. That's the question.
Okay.
So one question on organic certification, whether for organic certification, whether we have to ensure from the agricultural part itself.
Yeah, it has to be agriculture. It can be dairy. It can be fishing. It's the agri farm itself. But different sectors are there in the agricultural field. But they have to go in process for the 3 years in conversion. We call it. That's a long journey actually. The certification, organic certification, cannot happen just one day. It has to go for a in conversion process, and then finally they get converted into the full organic. So that is the journey they have to take.
There is one good question actually. How can MSME industries can acquire these certificates? Now we have a long horizon and then a wide range of certificates. But whether MSME segment can afford to go for all these certificates, or for an MSME sector, do we list out and say that you need only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or is it linked to importing countries' regulations?
Okay, I can definitely Prem has covered this, but I can tell in my language we call it a milestone approach. Milestone approach, it started a very basic certification program. Like when I started for a tea industry, like when I started my career, we used to train them, audit them for the GMP standard or HACCP standard. There's a very low level. Once the GMP and HACCP, then they become ISO, then they become FSSC. Now they have up to BRC some of the places, but that is the way the horizon standard happens. So you can make a benchmark approach and you can get into the process. Now, couple of schemes like GFSI certification itself, there is a global market program has been developed. What is global market program? Like a small entrepreneur. They cannot apply. They cannot apply for such a big 387 clauses and stuff.
Absolutely.
So for them, there is a program called Global Market Program. Global Market Program I have seen has a very good example. Some of the Brazil, some of the countries where the Global Market Program, small manufacturer, they take up like a first level. We will be giving them some sort of recognition certificate. That will be also, so that is the first year. Second year you get into the intermediate, and third year you get into the BRC start.
Yeah, this is the step by step.
Step by step approach. So first is your recognition letter, second is the intermediate recognition letter, and third year you will get the BRC approach. Similarly for the FSSC, like recently I was talking with the FSSC representative in India, and she was also telling, Soumik, if we can get some of the people, like some of the maybe the small manufacturing, some of the state or some of the district, we can group them, we can go for such a global market program approach, can give them some initial recognition with a maybe one-day audit, so that they can get into the international market business with that particular letter. And
very
then
nice.
Get into that. That is called global market program approach.
Now maybe we will request our chamber to look into this, because this is exactly what I was about to ask you, because whether you will be in a position to organize for a program like this, helping.
I'm sorry for disturbing you. Mr. Anil Dagri is in line. He wanted to say something to our forum. So I don't know if he lost me. Shall we ask him to call a minute?
Yeah,
sir.
Sir is there. Sir is there actually. Vijay Lakshmi. Mr. Anil Jari is there, you know, so you met sir actually in Chennai.
I know.
Sir is he wanted to say something, I guess.
Sir, very good evening, sir. Mr. Anil Jari, sir. Welcome to the forum.
Good evening, everybody. I was
Good
listening to all the questions and answers, and I thought I'll clarify a few things to the audience. If you are in food sector, for everybody, this is first thing you must look at the FSI regulations. I mean, before you start looking at certifications, please look at FSI regulations which apply to domestic market. Now, FSI itself, somebody asked a question whether it recognizes GFSI. Answer is, strictly speaking, no. The only certifications FSI has prescribed in its own regulations are BIS certifications for bottled water, for mineral water, etc. Some cases, not all. As you can see, most of the products are sold just like that. Only few products carry BIS mark because FSI has prescribed that. But in the licensing regulation, FSI has made a provision that if you are certified to international standards, you can get your license renewed automatically. There's one line written there, but it has not really been operationalized. But I can tell you that Codex is framing a guideline. Worldwide, it has been recognized that the voluntary certifications do help the regulators. So a guideline is coming, which I expect FSI to adopt when it comes, whereby some consideration would be given to any certification that is carried out in the voluntary sector, all kinds of schemes which Soumik has talked about. Secondly, going for exports now. Second part, again, going for exports, please look at first the regulations of the destination country. If you are exporting to US, you look at US FDA regulations. If you are exporting to EU, you look at EC regulations. If you are exporting to Brazil, you look at Brazilian regulations. So first thing is look at those regulations. Second, in certain areas, the government of India has made regulations for exports. Now, this is different from most countries where exports are not regulated normally. But in India, we do regulate exports, and a reference to EIC was given. So I would suggest you should go to the EIC website, and there are maybe about 9 or 10 products which are under compulsory regulation. So you cannot export without getting EIC approval. That includes seafood, for example. That includes dairy products. Includes, I think, poultry also. So when people are asking what kind of certificate is required as far as export is concerned, please make sure that you are not in the category where a compulsory export regulation is there by Government of India, and that is through EIC. So look at that. The rest of the certifications are voluntary and they are market demand. So what happens in EU, for example, is you have to comply with EU regulations, number one. Number two, your buyer may say that he wants SQF or he wants BRC. So that's an additional demand on you as a food business. So you should be very clear what is regulatory demand, what is the regulation of that country, because food is regulated everywhere. Even the smallest country like Nepal or Bhutan has food regulation. So first question you should ask is, if you are looking for exports, what is the regulation of that country? Second is to talk to your buyer, because the buyer may demand an additional certification, which is what these private certifications are doing. The retailers are asking for that. So I think this clarity should be there among all of us. There's nothing called what is the certification needed for bread. No certification is needed. All you need to do is to comply with the regulations of FSSAI. But if you are exporting, then you need to comply with the regulations of that country. Then your buyer may ask, even in India, your buyer, if you are supplying to some retail chain, they may say, well, we want you to have HACCP certification. Then you have to go for an additional one. But the first question you should be asking is, what is the regulation I am supposed to comply with? Well, food is regulated everywhere. So that should be the first question. And all consultants should also know and tell their clients that first thing is, please look at the regulations. Then start looking at the voluntary certification, what is suitable to you. That's all. That's all I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the detailed explanation, sir. Vijayalakshmi, do we have another 5 minutes or so for the questions? So there's some more questions. I'm just asking whether do we have time or do you want us to wind up?
So there is actually, we have exceeded 10 minutes. Please, you can, if there are any important questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to quickly say. There's one question, maybe we'll request Mr. Mondal or Prem to answer. FDA has implemented new labeling requirements from 2021 that all food packages should be labeled with nutrition information. Is it required for bulk packing also? We are packing products in 2LB, 4LB packings.
I need to take a look on this, maybe
Okay.
bulk packing is related part, because this is a regulatory requirement. I need to have a special look, and I maybe
some of this we will also try to share.
we will update you. Can
Yeah,
you come back to
there are so many questions. Maybe what we will do is, since we are running out of time, I request the audience, because the last part again, there are about 50 messages. Let me just look into those questions. Anyhow, we have the chat conversation. I will write to the a speaker and the consultant, Prem, wherever it is relevant, and we'll request them to respond to this, and maybe we will share with you. Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
No problem.
Because there are actually many more questions. So
yeah, it will be. So we can make a small FAQ for this session, and we can give an answer.
Yeah, that's a very nice thought. We will do it, Mr. Mondal, because I guess we will keep calling you again and again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice, and thanks for giving that opportunity to talk to all of you.
Over to Vijayalakshmi. Over to Vijayalakshmi. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Mr. Soumik for giving us an elaborate, detailed presentation on the standards. Definitely, this is the need of the hour, because food safety, as I told you in my introduction, also, which is very important. Already, it is important, but more so during this COVID. So, thank you very much, sir, for detailing out the various standards, and for Mr. Premkumar. It was an excellent presentation, Mr. Premkumar, for giving us the detailed thing on what is the role of the consultant, and what all the certifications which are necessary now, in a very detailed manner. Thank you very much, both of you, and I thank our chairman, Mr. Goenka, for giving us the overview about the program, and thank you, sir, for being a moral support for our program. And to Ms. Rama Venugopal, please, I would really like to congratulate you and thank you for this wonderful session, because you are instrumental in bringing out this, and the excellent speakers also, along with so many participants. I think we had around we have more than had 450 registrations, but I think we have had around 190 participants today, and with good questions. Actually, there are so many questions which are, of course, yet to be answered, but still there are a lot of interaction among the participants. And thank you very much. And definitely we can take it up, with the speakers separately and then respond to them. And I request the participants, in case of there is any feedback, please send a mail to andhrachamber1@gmail.com. I have shared already the mail ID. Please share your feedback, and definitely we will be mailing all our programs to you. And we are, as Ms. Rama Madam already told, we will definitely keep calling Mr. Mondal for this program on various aspects on industry engagement. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And I thank all the participants for taking that time off to join this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Mr. Goenka, sir, small information to you.
Yeah.
Mr. Goenka, sir.
Yeah, he's there.
We are the consultant for your 3F industries. GMP plus, I'm the first provided certification consultancy. Soumik sir has given certificate for our organization, sir.
And I also would like to tell the participants that there is no certificate. It is only an education program.
Yeah, please. This is something.
Your knowledge on the various standards of food the safety. So there is no certificate for this program. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.